Thank you so much, Minister. You know, the time has gone by really quickly, but it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
I will come back when you invite me.
Excellent, and I will. Well, Bahamas, it's been a pleasure having you listen in as we talk about education policy with both of our ministers and how education is being structured to give our students a future and a hope. Thank you again for sharing with us today. And you've been watching Ed Table Talk. If you'd like to receive updates on what's happening at the Ministry of Education, visit our YouTube channel, website, or other social media platforms. Well, that's all for now. I am Denise Pratt, and thank you again for tuning in.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the Office of the Prime Minister gives an update of whether or not Bahamian troops will be sent to Haiti. The government gives retail grocers an extension to adjust their price control listing. Plus, doctors warning of a new viral disease on Grand Bahama. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you so much for watching. Topping the news, Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latrey Ramming, responding to questions surrounding the government's final decision on whether or not Bahamian troops will be sent to Haiti to help their country's crisis. During the OPM's weekly press briefing this morning, Ramming said the intervention is not yet finalized. He also addressed the lingering concerns over the unregulated communities on Abaco. We have the details in this report. It is a hot-button topic that has many Bahamians asking, will the Bahamas intervene on Haiti's national crisis? And while some support the notion, others are against it. But the Office of the Prime Minister confirmed today that there has been no final decision made as yet on whether troops from the Bahamas will be sent to Haiti along with other countries.
That the Prime Minister had a conversation with his CARICOM counterparts on Wednesday night with the Prime Minister of Canada. They discussed the ongoing national security issue in the deteriorating national security issue in Haiti. What I can say is CARICOM regional members have not derived at a conclusion as yet as to whether or not we will send troops.
The communications director says the Bahamas is still working with CARICOM to determine the best way that the country could help Haiti if called upon.
What they have said is that they recognize the importance of the region acting together in our collective efforts to ensure that we preserve the regional national security. A stable Haiti is in the interest of all Caribbean countries, particularly the Bahamas, and we want to see economic and political stability in Haiti, and the government, along with its regional counterparts, will have to review what that intervention may look like.
And as it relates to the mounting concerns of expanding shanty towns on Abaco, Ramming reiterating that the government will not tolerate unregulated communities anywhere in the country.
There will be a multi-stakeholders task force that will comprise of all ministries, immigration, national security, to ensure that the government guarantee that the rules of our countries are being carried out. Just expanding on what the minister said, these communities have children in it. There are also the possibility that Bahamians may be involved in it. So we want to make it very clear that those who have intentions to host or build unregulated communities, that the government of the Bahamas will not tolerate it.
Well, retail grocers will receive an extension to the initial deadline to adjust the prices on 38 items that would be added to the price control basket, following the Prime Minister's announcement during his national address last week. This morning, Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latre Ramming, said the government will allow those retail grocers to voice their concerns and more time to get their affairs in order.
The government is committed to broad public consultation with all stakeholders. We will extend the period of conversation to next week, Friday. The government realizes and recognizes that we share the burden with all of our partners in this effort in the fight against the global economic crisis, so they will get an extension to next week, Friday.
After the initial announcement, the Retail Grocers Association argued that the move to add those 38 new items over to the price control list would be detrimental to the local food wholesale and retail industry. When asked how the government plans to address these concerns, Ramming had this response.
The negotiations are ongoing. There is no final place that we have derived in negotiations. So I suspect that the stakeholders will put to the government their concerns, and the government will have to review any possible accommodation. But it would be premature for me to say what that may be during the negotiations.
And the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation hosting a global sales mission in different cities in an effort to strengthen the country's brand. One of those missions held in Charlotte, North Carolina, with a trade show last evening, inviting travel agents and residents to experience Bahamian culture through business, music, and special Junkanoo performances. Our Aja Quant was there for the grand experience.
The Ministry of Tourism is definitely bringing the Bahamas to residents here in North Carolina with this trade show. A variety of Bahamian businesses and hotels, all a part of this mission to showcase what the country has to offer. Pelican Bay, Invest Grand Bahama, and Bahamas Air are among the vendors at the Ministry of Tourism's Global Sales Mission Trade Show in Charlotte. Senator with responsibility for global relations in the Ministry of Tourism, Randy Roll, says, following events like the pandemic, it is now time for the world to see that the Bahamas is back in the market.
Knowing that Grand Bahama is back open, knowing that the Bahamas is open, it's a good opportunity for them now to tell their friends, tell their families, and visit the islands and bring back the economic influence that the Grand Bahamians are used to.
Marketing consultant for the Grand Bahama Promotion Board, Carmel Churchill, says the trade show is just a way to meet with the travel community in the Charlotte area following years of not having a direct flight from the city.
We're reintroducing them to all that we have to offer, and I think that all of us are in for a pleasant surprise, particularly on the fact that you're now going to cut your travel time to the island by 6 hours, which is fantastic.
President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, also attending, noting that everyone is working together to promote the country, and the trade show is a clear indication of that.
Not only would Freeport Grand Bahama benefit, but the entire Bahamas will benefit by us coming out and promoting our country. So I'm thrilled to be here today, to be able to participate in this event.
And of course, what would be a Bahamian event without Junkanoo? And as you can see, it is definitely a celebration here, and this is just one of the many events that will occur to promote the Bahamas and to show that the Bahamas is open. Reporting here in Charlotte, North Carolina, for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Audra Quant.
Thanks so much, Aja, for that great story. Well, a local resident in Charlotte attending the mission celebration says it is a great feeling to experience Bahamian culture in her city, particularly because of her Bahamian heritage.
One lucky thing is that I'm lucky enough to have family in the Bahamas, so I'm always promoting for people to go to the Bahamas. I have tons of people that work for the city of Charlotte. When they ask me where to go, usually it's Nassau, Freeport, Exuma, all of the different islands, and I let them know that there's an array of islands, up to 700. There's a whole lot to choose from. So we're always promoting it, and we look forward to it. Just the thought of it is, I've gone to Hawaii, and it's still not as beautiful as the Bahamas. So all I can tell them is it is better in the Bahamas.
Kristen and Thomas Bowen, both travel advisors for cruise planners, were invited to the trade show. They are expressing their excitement on learning more about the country.
I'm actually quite impressed with the number of vendors and the things that I've never even heard of before and seen, and how well it's put together, very much.
It's exciting, hearing new things, and been to the Bahamas some, but it's neat to see different things I've not even known about, even though we've been there a few times. So it's a lot of fun and neat to hear about all the interesting properties that are there that are kind of not on the right at the cruise terminals that most people are used to.
In other news, amid reports of a possible new stream of the coronavirus and one confirmed case of cholera in the country, doctors are now warning residents about another disease called the Coxsackie virus, also known as the hand, foot, and mouth disease. According to medical professionals, there has been an outbreak of the virus on Grand Bahama recently and commonly seen in infants and toddlers. We spoke to a local physician who explains how the disease is contracted, how to control it, and how to prevent it. Here's that story. The Coxsackie virus is a viral disease that mainly affects infants during the summer months. But this year, the virus has lingered into the fall season, as doctors say there has been a hike in cases on Grand Bahama in recent weeks. Local physician Dr. Shailesh Hedge confirming that the spike began in September, while warning adults that they are not exempt.
Since September 11th, we are seeing a number of hand, foot, and mouth disease, which is caused by a virus by name Coxsackie virus. It's a mild infection. It's usually seen in preschool children under the age of 2 or 3. Sometimes you could also see in older children and also in adults.
International reports indicate that cases of Coxsackie virus have been higher than the 5-year average since mid-August, and in early October, they marked the 3rd highest level for the period in the past decade. Doctors say an outbreak of the virus should be closely monitored and controlled. Dr. Hedge explains the symptoms and the treatment.
It's a mild infection which presents with fever and rashes. The rashes are seen on the palm of the hands, sole of the feet, and around the mouth, and it is usually mild and self-limiting. Persons who have this disease have to stay home, self-isolate for at least 1 week or until all the rashes are gone. The rashes look like blisters, so until all the blisters are healed, they have to stay home.
While the disease spreads from person to person by physical contact, Dr. Hedge explains how this virus can be avoided.
It can be prevented by following the same protocols like COVID, like hand washing, sanitization, and of course wearing a mask may also be helpful. Especially in preschools, daycare centers, they have to be vigilant, especially when changing diapers and so on, and they have to notice this early so that they can send those children home and protect the other children from getting it.
The Department of Cooperative Development, along with the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources and Family Affairs, staged a series of events educating the wider public on the importance of cooperative unions and agriculture. Jolanda Thompson reports.
Students from various schools will learn a lineup of cooperative operations and its benefits. They are encouraged to become more involved in farming and viewing the agricultural way of life as a financial assistance to the economy. Cheryl Beaumoss, Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Affairs, Director of Society, says that the Ministry of Education, along with the Ministry of Agriculture, has placed hydroponic systems as a model for the kids to better understand the business sector.
Our children realize that they have to take charge of their economic destiny. They are the ones who have to turn the economy. It's no longer a gimme, it's now you have to give back. You know, not what can we do, what can the country do for us, is what we're going to do for the country. That's where the change has to come. And it is at this point that they are the change agents. So we're counting on cooperatives, giving us economic empowerment. and that the youth take the charge.
Beaumoss referenced one of the speakers, Terrence Roberts III, who further explained the community's cycle of agriculture.
One man's waste is another man's treasure. So restaurants and food stores can supplement farmers with their feed and how they develop to enrich the soil, because a complaint in Grand Bahamas, the soil is too thin. But he showed you how you could do composting, and you can use the runoff as fertilizer and to build. As simple as you having manufacturing going on here, bear and whatnot. The waste from the bear is food for the animals, and it also gives nutrients to the soil.
Undersecretary Bridget Hepburn bringing brief remarks to the children, imploring them to get their hands dirty with work from the ground up.
Farming is very, very important. We in the ministry, we're looking to see how we can feed ourselves, and in so doing, farming plays an important role in that. And sometimes persons just look at being a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, etc., but we don't want to get our hands dirty. A lot of the food that we import, we have to consume, so why not grow what we need to eat so that we won't have to spend so much on the outside? And so that's what we're here to do today, so that you can form cooperatives on the island of Grand Bahama.
The children engaged in a number of activities at the Youth Forum, in particular ways to improve farming techniques. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson.
When we come back, the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Boleg, announcing the ministry's latest attempt at empowering young people. That story and a whole lot more, including the latest in sports, when we return.
Hi, I'm Jay Philippe from the Northern Service, and I'm wearing pink to promote and support breast cancer awareness. Breast cancer screening with mammograms can save lives. Let's do our part to prevent breast cancer. Let's fight the fight.
Come on down. Come on down now.
With over 30 years of service with integrity, services in Abaco, New Providence, and Grand Bahama, providing modern and state-of-the-art equipment, specializing in the maintenance and operation of waste treatment plants, waste oil movement, sludge extraction, tank cleaning, elite portable toilets, and hand wash stations. We are efficient, reliable, and cutting edge. We are B&B Galaxy.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
And it's so fast I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Grand Bahama, get ready for the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture Youth March and Rally Sunday, October 23rd from Martintown to St. Stephen's Park, 8 Mile Rock. Lineup begins at 3 p.m. Come one, come all. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Boleg, launches the new Bahamas National Youth Guard program. The announcement coming during the office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing this morning. The initiative will engage a number of young people who will be trained to assist the country during and after a natural disaster. Shane Stubbs has more in this report.
Taking an all-hands-on-deck approach, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture is set to launch its latest initiative, the Bahamas National Youth Guard. Based on the assessment post-Hurricane Dorian, the Honorable Mario Bowleg says this program is slated to equip young people between the ages of 18 and 25 with the tools necessary to assist in the event of a disaster.
We have the vision and the fortitude to establish a groundbreaking program such as this. The Bible says that without vision, the people will perish. We are determined that the Bahamian people should not perish, not under our watch. It will give the participants the opportunity to gain technical skills such as search certification, boat captain license training, risk assessment, disaster management, conversation training, soft skills, and physical training. This initial cohort will consist of 100 of our young nation builders who will be positioned to make an impact in this nation through service.
He furthers, the program will have 4 phases with a 27th-month cycle. The first 3 months will be allocated toward training, with the second featuring an internship component. The third phase will feature an on-call component, and lastly, there will be quarterly training sessions. He also notes a stipend will be granted during the training and internship sessions. Youth Officer Kenneth Frazier will also share more on what this program would entail as they seek to reach young people on each island and create a generation that is able to handle those conditions.
So this program is designed to cater to youth throughout the entire nation. We plan on reaching out from as far as Inagua straight up to Abaco and the Berry Islands to make sure that everybody's incorporated so that if something like Dorian ever happens again, we start with our young people.
With it being Youth Month, Bowleg drives the point home. This is a worthwhile investment in the nation's upcoming leaders.
The government is going to invest $1.5 million in this first cohort. We're investing in our youth. If we don't invest in them, then they can invest negatively in us. So understand that this process is something that we take very seriously, and the government understands that we must do some things to save our young men and women.
The Bahamas National Youth Guard is expected to commence on January, with the deadline to register set for November 15th. To learn more about the Bahamas National Youth Guard, you can visit nyg.bahamas.gov.bs. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Well, members of the Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated Zeta Rho chapter has partnered with Martintown Primary School to activate its Operation Big Book Bag initiative this year by donating school supplies to the students. Chapter President Filcher Grant says Operation Big Book Bag is an international project in which the sorority focuses on assisting with educational supplies and needs within the community to ease the burden on families and to ensure that students have the basic tools needed to succeed.
We have a long-standing strategic relationship with Martintown that also includes assisting with their free breakfast feeding program. We understand the importance of providing parents with this extra support as Grand Bahama has seen its share of challenges, first with the catastrophic Hurricane Dorian and compounded with the COVID pandemic. This is a historical centennial year for us as Sigma Gamma Rho sorority is preparing to celebrate 100 years of sisterhood, service, and scholarship in November. So we're starting off this celebration by giving back, and we will be hosting several initiatives leading up to November.
As the sorority anticipates celebrating 100 years in November, the local chapter has organized several initiatives leading up to its centennial year, including a breast cancer awareness walk, a tree planting exercise, beach cleanups around the island, and more. And a local Anglican church hosting an exciting spelling bee competition over the weekend. After a 3-year hiatus, Anglican Church of the Ascension hosting the competition with youngsters throughout the community. After 13 rounds, the Anglican Church of Ascension's 9th Spelling Bee champions are first place Star Roach of Bishop Michael Eldon School. Second place winner, first runner-up, was Lux Singson of Mary Star Catholic Academy. And third place winner, Liam Bethel of Walter Parker Primary School. A special congratulations to all of the participants, including the winners, on a job well done. And here's a look at what's happening in sports on Friday.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to another exciting edition of sports right here in the North on a Friday. We have a lot of updates in softball and basketball at the Container Port Basketball Tournament, but let's begin with swimming. The YMCA Wave Runners Swim Club is now merging with Mako Aquatic Swim Club in New Providence to become one swim club.
Mako's is the #1 team in the country as it pertains to nationals. They've won nationals now for the last 4 years. We have been very successful in securing, when I say we, the YMCA Wave Runners have been very successful in securing the most golds won at nationals, at the 2022 nationals. When it comes to the well-being of a swimmer, that's what the YMCA is all about. We don't want our swimmers at no time to feel that they're not the best. So what should we naturally do? Join with the best. And as a result of that, our kids who have swam out of the box and represented us well, we felt it was our time to make a decision in the best interest of those swimmers.
Standout swimmer Zoe Williamson is excited about the merger.
I feel like it's a good transition because for like the longest time, the YMCA has been like second, and just last nationals we came first with gold medals. So now that'll be like conjoined. We could like have gold medals and first place in the same thing. So I'm just happy about that.
Switching gears now, softball championship action will continue this weekend at the Sports Complex Softball Park. On Saturday, Pat Uniform will go up against Alive. Rand Shockwavers go up against Kelly's. Pat Uniform will take on Express in all-men play. As far as Sunday, Kelly's will match up against the Rand in corporate play. Pat Uniform will take on Immigration in co-ed action. And Alive will look to tie the series against Pat Uniform in ladies play. And finally in sports, scores from the Container Port Basketball Tournament. Container Port North won against Bahama Rock 36-8. Team Buckeye got the win against Freeport Harbor 23-17, and the Port Authority had a close one against Container Port Southside. Final score on that game was 29-27. And that's a quick check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Friday's Energy Tips is brought to you by the Grand Bahama Power Company.
Hi, I'm Cleopatra Russell, Director of Communications here at Grand Bahama Power Company with another energy efficiency tip to help you better manage your energy and better manage your bill. Did you know that the refrigerator is the hardest working appliance in your home? It never shuts off. So here are 3 simple tips that you can use to make sure that it's running efficiently and it's not costing you more money. Even the smallest details can save you a great deal of money on your next energy bill. By allowing your leftovers time to cool down after a meal, you're reducing the amount of heat added to the interior of your appliance. You should also properly store your food in protective wrapping or Tupperware prior to placing the dish in the refrigerator, as it prevents any residual heat from escaping into your unit. Keep the door closed. No matter what type of refrigerator you have, this is the most obvious and cheapest way to reduce your energy usage. Standing in front of an open fridge can and will have a large impact on your energy bill. As the cold escapes from your appliance, it requires more energy to return it to its intended temperature. If possible, decide what you want prior to opening the doors of your refrigerator or freezer. Making decisions before cracking open your fridge allows you to limit the amount of time you open it on a daily basis, which as a result can conserve a great deal of energy in your home. And last but not least, organize and remove clutter from your refrigerator regularly. Harness your inner neat freak and organize your refrigerator at least once a month. When your items are easy to find inside of your fridge, you can spend less time with the door open, tracking down your food, ultimately reducing the amount of energy to use. You should also consider that your refrigerator cools the items inside by allowing the air to properly circulate. Allowing the air to properly circulate is going to help with your refrigerator cooling items much faster, therefore reducing the amount of energy it needs to use. For this and more energy efficiency tips, visit us at the Smart Home in the Regent Center or follow us on Facebook.
Tonight, an appeal is being made for Mrs. Mina Outen. She's in urgent need of O-positive blood. If you can donate, please donate to the blood bank at the Rand Memorial Hospital. It is understood that she was involved in a traffic accident during her morning walk.
Due to ongoing repairs, Lusco wishes to advise motorists of the closure to the Casuarina Bridge effective until November 1st. Motorists are requested to instead utilize the Sir Jack Haywood Bridge to access East Grand Bahama.
Connaught Bahamas says now is the perfect time to do all those updates and repairs, changing your flooring or updating those windows. Now in stock at Connaught Bahamas are stylish ceramic plank tiles, shower floor tiles, an array of sizes in porcelain tiles, laminate and vinyl flooring, impact and PVC windows. Connaught Bahamas is stocked out with everything you need to enhance your beautiful home, so you enjoy life the way you should. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Ice the coconut got this, cocoa skin driven madness, juiciness ice the vibe this, sweet like a sugar in a dripping like ice honey, addict all of my love me, sweet like a sugar in a watch it go ba 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 ba, 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 sweet like a sugar in a
new clear platinum flavor, flavored beers with a kick of rum, make it platinum.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Denise Duncombe is celebrating her birthday today, and she is also our Facebook friend of the night. We hope that you had an enjoyable day, and that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Simone Davis. Have a wonderful weekend. The Bahamas Tonight continues. Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, revelations of an audited overseas office. Bahamas Air survivability and progress, preparing today's youth for tomorrow's disasters, and Wildcats win Ladies Softball Championship. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. We continue our 45th anniversary celebrations tonight with another familiar face on the news desk, Diana Swan, who eventually moved up the ranks to hold down the position as the BCB's general manager. Diana, welcome back to the desk.
Thank you, Makushla.
And as the case with all of our co-anchors, it's certainly a pleasure to have you right next to me tonight.
It's really a pleasure being here. I'm really excited to read with you tonight.
That's wonderful. Now, we have to ask you this question.
Yes?
You know, some of us just fall into this profession by accident. Some of us, it was always a dream to be a journalist. What's the case with you?
Actually, I fell into it. Yes, I fell into it. There is a gentleman in Freeport by the name of Pastor Michael Pinder. I had lived in Detroit, Michigan for a while, and I came back home looking for a job. And he sent me to Richardson Campbell, who was the editor of the Freeport News, now deceased. And he gave me a pad and a pen and said, go to court. And so I went. I love to tell stories. So I became a crime reporter. And the rest is kind of history.
Well, we hope to hear more of that history later in the newscast. Now on to tonight's top story. Merchants granted another extension to comply with new price control amendments. The government, in a release this afternoon, confirmed that following fruitful meetings with the group, the deadline to adjust the prices of added items of the price control list has been pushed to October 31st. The added days are to give merchants the extra time to complete their respective transition process. Beginning November 1st then, enforcement of the final amended regulations are set to begin. Merchants have stenched on the issue, with the Retail Grocers Association arguing in part that the industry was not consulted before Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis made the announcement in his recent national address. Now, while grocers have suggested the expanded price control list, 38 items in total, could lead to layoffs and business closures, Minister of Economic Affairs Senator the Honorable Michael Halkitis told reporters earlier this week that the government's primary concern lies with the increase in prices and its impact on customers. Meantime, ZNS News earlier this week spoke to a number of consumers who applaud the government for taking what they call the bold step to help in the face of rising inflation. Well, in other news this evening, an audited report pointing to glaring deficiencies at the Atlanta Consul General's office during the period July 2018 to June 2022. For instance, there were copies of 2 loan agreements from the operational accounts, one in the amount of $4,000, the other $7,000. The loans, according to the audit, were approved by the senior officer without approval from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now, while the $4,000 was paid off, the $7,000 was to be repaid beginning January 31st, 2019. However, no repayment amount was indicated in the agreement. The audit, though, notes evidence of 6 repayments totaling $5,537.59. The thing is, auditors were not made sure if the remaining balance of $1,462.41 was repaid. And that brings us to the recommendation that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs ensures the balance of the loan be repaid and that the operational account not be used for personal loans. Further scrutiny of the accounts pointed to reimbursement of furniture of more than $16,000. And this despite a letter from the ministry dated June 2018 with instructions for the consulate not to spend more than $6,230. Further reviews showed that the ministry transferred just over $50,000 on July 3rd, 2019. The total cost of the furniture, $66,000+. Again, the Auditor General recommends approval from the ministry prior to purchases. Further, that the consulate establish standards and policies to purchase furniture for all embassies, consulates, and missions. Additionally, that ambassadors should not be solely responsible for these functions, but rather consult the minister and other representatives. Now, as for the embassy's organization, most staffers were unaware of a reporting structure, and that while a request was made for a copy of an organizational chart, auditors were told one does not exist.
Now that the government has increased the minimum wage that will see some 60,000 persons benefiting, the focus will shift to the matter of a livable wage. The Honorable Keith Bell says the government is reviewing several livable wage models in effect in some countries worldwide before the government makes a decision. He was speaking to the media at the weekly press briefing held at the office of the Prime Minister earlier today.
We appreciate the fact that inflation has increased exponentially, and of course, it will continue to increase given what is going on around the world. The Ukrainian war, for example, the provision of goods and services, etc. And so what it means that we will be engaging through the Department of Labor and the National Tripartite Council in a number of discussions. Many countries around the world have adopted different models. Some, I think yesterday as I watched the news, there was a poll as to whether or not we ought to increase the wage every 3, 4, 5, or a number of years, whether we ought to use a scale, whether we ought to put something in the legislation where we're able to, the provisions are automatic in respect to when you can anticipate it. But again, it will all have to be discussed and determined, of course, in respect to, as well as in discussion and dialogue, with our social partners, all of the Employers Federation, certainly with the government, because it has significant financial implications.
Now, whichever model is selected, Minister Bell says before any decision is made, the government will have public consultation.
We don't want to necessarily appear to be unrealistic in our approach in terms of what the livable wage ought to be. So once there would have been extensive discussions and dialogue, then we would come and determine what model we ought to adopt in terms of going forward. Okay?
An archipelago in itself, Bermuda and the Bahamas are seeking to build on those things in common with the help of a diplomatic partnership the two have cemented. The opportunity coming during the Prime Minister's official visit there this week, during which he met with Bermuda's Premier and its cabinet. Altavis Munnings tells us more.
Not benchmarking on.
According to Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, he's the first regional Prime Minister to visit Bermuda's new Progressive Labour Party administration since coming to office. The two-day senior government trip comprised a high-level meeting with Premier David Burt and members of his cabinet. Ideas were exchanged on transport, affordable housing, climate change, CARICOM representation, and the fintech industry. Accompanying the Prime Minister was Transport and Housing Minister, the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, Foreign Affairs and Public Services Minister, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Miles LaRota, as well as former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie.
You had the Front Street boys. We had the Bay Street boys.
Prime Minister Davis also addressed the Progressive Labour Party's 57th Delegates Conference at the St. Paul AME Church Centennial Hall in Bermuda's capital of Hamilton. It was there that Premier Burt was re-elected the Progressive Labour Party's leader. The Prime Minister reminisced on how both PLP organizations have endured shared battles since its inception.
Your promise to rebuild Bermuda with Bermudians at heart has a strong overlay with our promise to deliver a new day. Central to each is the determination to exercise competent, compassionate leadership for all. We must stay true to our respective mandates and not be tempted to adapt or adopt the attitudes of our opponents.
Prime Minister Davis also announced his government's intention to appoint an honorary consul to Bermuda.
This person will assist Bahamian nationals and businesses in Bermuda and pursue opportunities, mutual opportunities for growth and development, which will be of mutual benefit to both countries.
An invitation was also extended to Bermuda's Progressive Labour Party to attend the Progressive Liberal Party's next national convention, as well as next year's 50th independence celebrations. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altavis Munnings.
The Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation hosting a global sales mission in different cities in an effort to strengthen the country's brand. One of those missions held in Charlotte, North Carolina, with a trade show last evening, inviting travel agents and residents to experience Bahamian culture through business, music, and special Junkanoo performances. Our Azura Quant was there for the grand experience.
The Ministry of Tourism is definitely bringing the Bahamas to residents here in North Carolina with this trade show. A variety of Bahamian businesses and hotels, all a part of this mission to showcase what the country has to offer. Pelican Bay, Invest Grand Bahama, and Bahamas Air are among the vendors at the Ministry of Tourism's Global Sales Mission Trade Show in Charlotte. Senator with responsibility for global relations in the Ministry of Tourism, Randy Roll, says, following events like the pandemic, it is now time for the world to see that the Bahamas is back in the market.
Knowing that Grand Bahama is back open, knowing that the Bahamas is open, it's a good opportunity for them now to tell their friends, tell their families, and visit the islands and bring back the economic influence that the Grand Bahamians are used to.
Marketing consultant for the Grand Bahama Promotion Board, Carmel Churchill, says the trade show is just a way to meet with the travel community in the Charlotte area following years of not having a direct flight from the city.
We're reintroducing them to all that we have to offer. And I think that all of us are in for a pleasant surprise, particularly on the fact that you're now going to cut your travel time to the island by 6 hours, which is fantastic.
President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, also attending, noting that everyone is working together to promote the country, and the trade show is a clear indication of that.
Not only would Freeport Grand Bahama benefit, but the entire Bahamas will benefit by us coming out and promoting our country. So I'm thrilled to be here today, to be able to participate in this event.
And of course, what would be a Bahamian event without Junkanoo? open. Reporting here in Charlotte, North Carolina, for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Audra Quant.
Well, the National Flag Carrier will next year mark a major milestone along with the country. Both will turn the big 5-0. Bahamas Air's execs accept, though, that the airline's survivability and progress depends on a strong and forward-looking business plan that calls for remaining innovative. Addressing Exuma's Business Outlook seminar, Bahamas Air's Deputy Managing Director, Prince Storr, says the whole idea is to create a seamless travel experience.
We're implementing what we call a bag tracer system, where no matter where you are, we can identify where your bags are at any given time. This we look at as saying, you know, if there is a situation with a misplaced bag, we will be able to identify that bag, exactly where it is, and get that to you in short order. Because we all know it's very disappointing when a person has to travel and they don't have their bags with them. So that's a system that we're putting in place. No matter where you are in our system, we'll be able to tell exactly where your bag is and get it to you. In our maintenance department, we're implementing a new system, an Alchem system, which will help us to streamline our maintenance. It'll also help us to allow the aircraft to fly more.
Well, if all goes as planned, a cruise management system will ensure crews are on the ground less, flying more. Marketing, an equally important role in the airline's push to remain industry leaders. And according to Storr, that means zooming in on product, pricing, placement, and promotion.
We want to put something out there that gives a sense of value to the traveling public. We talk about designing educational tours for schools and groups to visit the family islands, and we want to do this targeting both domestic and international markets. So schools going to the family islands, that's something we want to promote. We also introducing ancillary services, and this is something in terms of providing travel insurance, baggage insurance, also, and we also want to return back to our in-flight entertainments offering that we gave our passengers pre-pandemic. That was something where we put movies. We want to put movies and internet on the aircraft, being able to access the internet.
Driving change for food security was the focus of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs Minister, the Honorable Clay Sweeting's address at the Exuma Business Outlook yesterday. He touted government's budget allocation to ensure food security, particularly as the country continues to endure a $1 billion food import bill.
We have allocated $6 million towards food security initiatives. We have also increased duty concessions for poultry farmers and made over $1 million available to farmers and fishers, working with the SBDC to ensure that we provide them with opportunities to start or expand their food production businesses. This Sustainable Food Growth Grant is very important to help to streamline the way we do business in agriculture in our country. This grant, offered through the Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center, has garnered interest and was oversubscribed at its deadline on October 7th.
The expansion of shantytowns still a major cause for concern for officials. Minister of Works and Utilities, the Honorable Alfred Sears, admitting as much, saying it's time for considered action. And this in the face of a recent revelation that the shantytown known as the Farm on Abaco has grown from 50 acres to as much as 200 in the wake of Hurricane Dorian in 2019.
We'll be calling a press conference with the team once I'm fully briefed, and we will be providing a very comprehensive, multi-dimensional response.
Hi, this is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dane with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. In the far eastern Atlantic, there's an area of low pressure, some 1,400 miles east of Bermuda. It is expected to rate 5 miles per hour, and once it moves into some 5 days. But until then, tropical cyclone development is not expected over the next 5 days. This has been a Tropical Weather Update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast, I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time. Yeah, my internet's so fast, I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking. Mine's so fast, when I go to church online, service actually over early. Mine's so fast, when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3. Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me. But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Mealtime rules. Don't serve yourself first. Do not eat with your mouth open. Don't rest your elbows on the table. Don't make noise when eating. Does not apply when enjoying KFC buckets. When we bucket together, we are as we really are.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
From the courts this evening, 4 facing a magistrate earlier today, all accused of fraud-related charges. Accused of attempted fraud is Vashawn Lloyd of number 6 Lee Street, Nassau Village. The 28-year-old reportedly tried to obtain $5,000 from the Scotiabank account of Little Whale Key back on January 15th of this year. On the same day and the same account, 28-year-old Dorset Street resident Frederick Roll allegedly sought to commit the same crime. Meantime, hit with 3 counts was Shonell Rogers. Rogers, 23, of Polima Street, is alleged to have uttered a forged document, possessed a forged document, and attempted fraud by false pretenses. This in connection with a January 13th, 2022 incident involving a Little Whale Key check made out in her name to Commonwealth Bank, Golden Gates, Blue Hill Road. The amount, $3,000. LaShand Cash of Sir Lyndon Pinling Estates also on the wrong side of the law. The crime, 1 count of possession of a forged document, 1 count of uttering a forged document, and attempted fraud. It's alleged that on Tuesday, September 27th, the 48-year-old janitress had a Sunshine Finance letter addressed to the Department of Environmental Services authorizing the cancellation of a salary deduction in the amount of $1,345. Now, Lloyd, Roll, and Rogers all pleaded guilty to the charges. Cash maintained her innocence and was granted $4,000 bail. She returns to court next February.
Workers demolishing a building in the Chippenham area surrendered a handgun and ammunition found inside the ceiling of that building to police after 12 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. Police thanked members of the public for their unwavering support to help keep communities safe.
Oh, the importance of good family life, another key issue Anglican Archbishop, the Right Reverend Laish Boyd, tackled during his charge Wednesday evening at the opening session of the 119th Anglican Synod at Christ Church Cathedral.
Let's strive to make the home a place of peace and security for all who live there, where differences are a part of life, but where differences are dealt with positively, so that the family continues to journey together no matter what. Let us all in our homes strive to make it so that everyone in the home feels valued, loved, and cared for. Let's teach our children and let adults model respect for authority and for all people, and courtesy.
He also underscored the need for education, good behavior, cooperation, and a positive outlook on life and society, but above all, godliness.
You may not have all of the money or job security that you would like to have, but you don't need those things to be decent and respectable. You don't need those things to give your children a good upbringing and good values, which will take them throughout the world.
Delegates attending the Caribbean Water and Wastewater Association conference got a first-hand look at Consolidated Water Bahamas Limited's Windsor Seawater Reverse Osmosis facility earlier today. The plant supplies 30% of the water used by the Water and Sewage Corporation's New Providence clients. The corporation's general manager, Henderson Cash, says some 19 people are employed at the facility that, through reverse osmosis, converts seawater to water suitable for drinking.
We're showcasing this plant, which has a capacity of 16 million imperial gallons per week. It's a desalination plant. We utilize seawater and we purify seawater to produce a product that meets World Health Organization standards for potable water.
He says a benefit of the state-of-the-art water plant commissioned in 2018 is how it uses energy.
It employs, in terms of its design and its energy use, technology that makes it a very low energy input plant for maximum output. So we strive always to be very energy efficient. The process of reverse osmosis requires energy input because you're going against a natural process to have this outcome of purified water at the end. We want to minimize the amount of energy input. When we talk about energy, in the case of this plant, we're talking about electricity and diesel. So we're always seeking ways and means to maximize output and reduce energy input.
The University of the Bahamas hosting a well-attended job fair on Thursday for students seeking to get a jump start in life and in their field of interest. Companies ranging from insurance to varied STEM professions to tourism confirming their eagerness to onboard a new crop of employees. We hear more from our Lloyd Allen.
The event saw hundreds of job hopefuls filing in to hear from the dozens of participating companies on why employment is right for them. According to Aviation Superintendent Roderick Hareburn from Rubus, Bahamas, vacancies remain.
Well, here at Rubus, we have an accountant position. We also have a crewman position that's at our LPIA terminal, and we have operator position at our Clifton Pier terminal. The onboarding is done through email, email at employment@rubus-caribbean.com.
Bahamas First also on site touting diversity as a key selling point, Human Resources Manager Amanda Dean.
So when we talk about diversity in our company, that's actually been a theme for us this year with one of our avenues. We've done a lot of seminars on diversity and inclusion within our group. We've opened this up not only to our Bahamas First team, but also our Cayman First team. So we have expanded it, and that's been a focus for our educational platforms this year.
Bahamar also showcasing a number of possibilities, including expanding its culinary department. Meantime, accounting firm Nexia was hoping to reel in UB's best and brightest, along with officials from Queens College.
We offer accounting, advisory, and auditing services.
Students say the event gave them much to consider.
I actually like how the fact that UB has partnered with a lot of the different businesses to see, to actually give students an opportunity, a chance to see what they may like, what different jobs, opportunity that they may be able to acquire. It's just been a great session, really.
I remember I thought as a freshman, a lot of the stuff we hear throughout the campuses, I can't find a job despite my degree. So, with that said, this would be very beneficial to those students who have fears about not getting a job because they're getting engaged while they stay at university.
I'd say these fairs are really important because it gives us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on our future careers and what we'd like to accomplish.
Family Guardian stood out to me the most because they were very welcoming. They told me that they don't really have anything for my major, but they told me that they will keep in touch with me just in case if anything is available.
UB officials say the goal is not just educating, but equipping students with the road ahead during and after university. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, the results of this week's poll question are in. And as a reminder, you were asked, how often should minimum wage be increased here in the Bahamas? A, every 3 years, B, every 5 years, or C, every 10 years? Well, on our Facebook page, 47.5% of you said 3 years, 37.5% 5 years, and just 15% of you 10 years. Over on the ZNest Network page, 3 years pulled in 62% of the votes, 27% opted for 5 years, and 11% of you 10 years. In terms of tweets, 3 years pulled in 57.7%, 5 years 23.1%, and 10 years 19.2%. As always, thanks for participating.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
North Carolina is an important market for us. We have great connections and partnerships in Charlotte and in Raleigh. Yesterday we were in Charlotte. We went to Concord where the Minister for Grand Bahamas signed an agreement for a sister-city relationship. We're going to do some exciting things with them. I won't talk about that. I leave that for the Minister to discuss. But certainly Charlotte, North Carolina is an important market. We have 5 major airlift routes with American Airlines from Charlotte direct to Nassau, to Abaco, to Eleuthera, to Grand Bahama, and of course to Georgetown, Exuma. I'm very excited about this. American Airlines has been a great partner. We are promoting our 16-island destination. Yes, we're excited about Nassau Paradise Island, but we want our guests and our tourists to know that they can go direct, for example, to Nassau and onward to Harbor Island by ferry, or they can go to Freeport, Grand Bahama and onward to Crown Haven, Abaco by ferry, or of course they can go to Georgetown, Exuma, and then they can visit Long Island, see the Dean's Blue Hole, for example, in Long Island, and experiencing all of the seafood dishes and the culture and the art and the spirit of our people in Long Island. We are pushing the 16-island destination. We're excited about this market. We're already 40% ahead of what we've done in 2019. We're hoping to meet our overall target for arrivals in the Bahamas this year compared with 2019. We're going to match 2019. And I remind you, 2019 was a banner year, but we're going to beat 2019 next year.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth, visit us today. Capital Lumber, build strong.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles done cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Well, Diana, I want to know, and I'm sure our viewers would like to know as well. You've been away from the desk for a little while. You've been out of journalism for a little while. The everyday assignments of journalism. What do you miss most?
Actually, I miss the traveling, the covering of the stories. What I'm doing now, I'm over at BIS, the executive director. I'm in charge of the broadcast unit, among other things. But I miss going out, I miss interviewing people, I miss meeting people and trying to help people along the way. And today I was just sitting at my desk next door wondering, what is she going to ask me? And if she asks about any favorite moments, what will I say? And I couldn't think of anything except for the camaraderie with the staff. You know, there's an office in Freeport, and then there's headquarters here. There used to be an office in Abaco. And so you just miss doing some things that you used to do, and it becomes a part of you.
That camaraderie that you speak of is also what we heard from Michelle Malcolm and Debbie Bartlett and all the others, Matt Mora and Agnes Ferguson. So, you know, I can only say that it is very real here at ZNS, and hopefully it continues.
It's a lot of fun, and there are so many names that we did not mention while you were doing this week. There's the Karen Umbrister, who was then Karen Wallace. There's the Mike Gibson, who lives in Canada and called to say that he watches. There are just so many of them, you know, and so we miss it, I'm sure. I know I do. I miss the camaraderie. But getting to know the young reporters, young and upcoming reporters, and who knows, there may be a general manager in this group.
Well, hopefully so. And speaking of ZNS, a look back at ZNS over the many years, veteran journalist Dr. Deborah Bartlett, whose name we just called, is a name that has become synonymous with ZNS. Our Lloyd Allen tonight continues with our special highlight on staffers who have helped to shape ZNS television over the years.
Veteran journalist and former anchor Dr. Deborah Bartlett, for a large part of her career, was the face of Bahamian broadcasting. She says her larger-than-life personality delivering first-class reporting was crafted during her early days as the first black female on America's CBS.
Being the first black on WHBF, CBS, in Rock Island, Illinois, and they asked me to stay for 2 years so that I could go on CBS in Chicago. And I had this vision about coming home, taking longer, but influencing, impacting the international community. So I came home.
While there were initial challenges, she says favor opened the door to her journey at ZNS as a copy editor.
Weeks later, there was or maybe months, there was a strike. And they allowed me to come into the newsroom. I worked between the news and programming. And the first program director, Elva Russell Rowe, looked at me one day as we were coming up and down the steps. She said, "Do you consider doing a talk show?"
Woman became her first, a show which helped to cement her career on local television. Bartlett adds her trademark in the business has long been in excellence, building Woman from the ground up, as she even co-wrote the show's soundtrack with artist and cousin Shelley Carey Wallace.
Elva Russell Rowe shared the vision of empowering Bahamians. And so I like to write music as well and write songs. And so I believe Shelley and I co-wrote the song, Woman. And we were so proud because it really sounded world class. I think we were ahead of our time.
Bartlett is also known for her popular show, Reaction. She says her career at ZNS is filled with highlights, not only in meeting leaders from around the world, but also inspiring others to become their best and through telling stories that impact people. While much has changed, Dr. Bartlett says ZNS remains a powerhouse for the Bahamas and a platform representing the nation's best.
The world should be coming to look through the community of broadcasters, leading with ZNS, to know that if you want substantive coverage, substance is there, the quality is there, that the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas can be trusted.
Celebrating 45 years in television, for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Community builder Alfonso Smith to be laid to rest in North Andros tomorrow. His funeral service taking place at St. Margaret's Anglican Church in Nicholstown. Ahead of that, the Progressive Liberal Party stalwart was remembered today during a memorial service at PLP headquarters. Smith, dubbed a North Androsian extraordinaire, served as chief consular for many years. He was also a senior manager at the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation, held positions with Water and Sewage, BPL, Town Planning Committee, Bahamas Games Committee, and served as Regatta Commodore. Reflecting on his life was former Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Cynthia Pratt, who said Smith was a man who persevered.
Alfonso was a brilliant man from a boy, and he was raised by the village. But he continued. When one door appeared to shut, that didn't discourage him. He went on to the next door. And I am saying today, how many of our young people today in Andros? But you see, it's up to us to tell the story. There are a lot of things we wait on government to do. We ought to do ourselves. If a man like Alfonso was so valuable, us as a people need to come together and have his name to live on.
Meantime, a celebration of life dedicated to service. This as Progressive Liberal Party officials, friends, and loved ones gathered at the St. Lyndon Pinling Center earlier today for a memorial service dedicated to the life of PLP stalwart councillor, the late Cornita Sands. Sands, an Eleuthera native, was a mother of three, a beloved community member, and a devoted member of the Progressive Liberal Party for many years. The stalwart councillor passed away in hospital on October 8th. She was 80 years old. Speaking at the service, Minister of Education, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, says Sands leaves behind a legacy of service.
She was someone who was incredibly connected and committed to the national development of this country, and not just to the qualitative progress of the Bahamian people. And, you know, this is really what the Progressive Liberal Party is about. It's the enlistment to the ideals that advance the people. And she was a very strong believer in that. She was a public servant. She worked at the Princess Margaret Hospital for many years and brought qualitative engagement there in terms of her service and advancing the work of that hospital. So we're really talking about someone who was just a stellar citizen. And
having a policy with Bahama Health is more than just health insurance. It's about feeling good knowing that your health and wellness is covered. It's about the confidence you feel knowing that your card is accepted by over 50 pharmacies and 400 local doctors. It's about peace of mind, knowing that when you travel, you have comprehensive coverage and our overseas partner is just a phone call away. It's about the security you feel, knowing that you're an important part of the family.
Join the family.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Years after its closing, Club Med in San Salvador will reopen its doors as of tomorrow, October 22nd, a much-needed sign of resurgence for that island's economy. The Family Island property's initial $100 million investment comprises an additional $5 million to facilitate the reopening, with the government allocating some $3 million to facilitate upgrade infrastructure that includes clinics, the water system, and electrical systems.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, outlined a number of significant investments coming for the island of Exuma while speaking at the annual Exuma Business Outlook on Thursday. Big Sampson Key has a $150 million private island resort and marina on the way, with projects also set for Little and Middle Sampson Key.
We've also approved an investor to acquire the remainder of the leasehold interest in 155 acres on Little Sampson Key and 3 acres on Middle Sampson Key. This project will see the renovation of all existing structures: the restaurant, rental units, bar, office, houses, marina, and docks. In Phase 1, there will be the construction of a pool, tennis court, a tiki bar, a gym, and a spa. In Phase 2, we will see 30 to 40 new guest bungalows, another restaurant, and a beach bar constructed. This will cost in the region of $30 to $40 million.
It's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Diana, and welcome in the studios this evening with us. Outside of our studios, near clear skies, temperature a comfortable 81 degrees, relative humidity 64%. We have westerly winds at 8 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,013.3 millibars. It's 29.92 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the Family Valleys this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 78 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Green Toll Key in Marsh Harbor. And Marsh Harbor at 76 degrees, pardon me. The Berry Island, 79 degrees. 80 degrees in Allenstown, Bimini, 83 in Roxanne, Lucia. Black Point, Exuma, 79. Camp Space, Andrews, 79. And Fresh Creek, Central Andrews, they have a temperature of 80 degrees. 82 in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 83 degrees. 83s again in Ragged Island, Clarence Town, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 81. Acklands, 81. Matthew Tiny, Nago, 84. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 85 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FRP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center in the Northwestern Islands. Through Saturday, you can expect northwest and north winds, speeds around 10 to 15 knots, and the wave fights 2 to 4 feet. The low tide takes place at 5 minutes past midnight, high tide at 6:10 tomorrow morning in the central and southeastern islands. Light and variable winds with flat seas. And as we take you into Sunday in the Northwestern Islands, the winds become northerly at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave fights 2 to 4 feet. High tide on Sunday, 6:52 in the morning, with a low tide at 1:08 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands, northeasterly winds, those winds picking up 10 to 15 knots, wave heights building 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. Got to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Extended weather forecast is still ahead.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Mario thought he could have his cake and eat it too. He almost found out the hard way that if you don't insure your home for the full replacement value, when it comes time to make a claim, you won't get the full payout. It's called the condition of average. If your $200,000 home is destroyed by a hurricane, but you only insured it for $100,000, half the value, you'll only get half of that $100,000 payout. Actually, less than that, because there's also a deductible which will be deducted from your payout. Check your home insurance policy for the condition of average clause and ask your insurance agent or broker how condition of average would affect you. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
The pandemic has been not so kind to so many people in our community. And when we think about how we fared coming off the pandemic, we're trying to find meaningful ways to continue to give back.
So with the Together platform, it allows people to be able to give back, to make small donation, whether it's $20 or whatever you can give, to be able to give and to help those people who are in need.
The Sports Report is brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gym. The best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Good evening, it's Sports Friday. I'm Charles Fisher. It was a must-win scenario for the Rob operators as they hope to extend the New Providence Softball Association Ladies Championship Series and avoid the sweep at the claws of the Sunshine Auto Wildcats. And with desperation on their side, the operators pounded out to an 11-5 lead after 4 and was looking to be in the driver's seat. But being the champions pedigree they are, the Wildcats would pure their way back into this ball game as we are all set up at 13, all heading into the bottom of the 7th. And with the bases loaded, no one out, operators pitcher unable to handle the comeback. And yes, the Wildcats come out with the 14-13 win and sweep the series 3-0.
It wasn't easy, though. It wasn't easy. You know what I mean? Those girls put up a good fight. You know what I mean? I got to give hats off for JR and his team. They sure give us a fight, you know what I mean? But Wildcats know how to, and you get your back against the wall, what to do. This is a sweet one. You understand? Because, you know, we're going through a lot of things, and then we hang up for a while before we started again. And then, you know, our season was short. Say the best of the 7, best of the 5.
It feels great, honestly. I know what we came here to do, and we executed, and I'm proud of that. Well, we know the fight that we have in us, and we just went out there and just have the winning mindset to go there and win.
This is our last game in the championship. If we lose this game, we don't have to play another game, but we wasn't hearing that tonight. I feel like I was victorious tonight because of the big hit I had in the 6th inning, clearing the bases. I feel like that's what made the game. But you know what? The game overall is a team sport. Everybody moves count.
Soaked in the bubblies, team sponsor Sonny Glad to run it back again.
I've been sponsoring this team now for 5 years. The first year we played in the championship against the Truckers. And the Truckers, that's champagne in my eye. And the Truckers won. and came to my church the following day, which is a Sunday, dressed in gear. And I told Mr. Johnson, promise me you'll come back next year. And the very next year, we put a beating on him out this world. He did not show up to church. And until now, 4 championships in a row, I have not seen him to church. Okay? So I'm putting it out there, Mr. Johnson, you can come back to church.
Not much celebration in the men's series as this is going to a game 4 come Saturday night, and that's because the CNS Hitmen, they were able to regroup from that embarrassing 18-zip loss to go up 2-1 on the Sabatech Blue Marlins with a 10-4 win. Once again, the CNS Hitmen can wrap up the championship with a win Saturday. Meantime, the Blue Marlins looking to extend this series. Private school softball with Queens College Comets traveling to Fox Hill to take on the Big Red Machine of Sac in a big junior girls matchup. Sac winning the earlier season matchup at QC 10-zip. This one, a slugfest going back and forth, and in the end, QC getting revenge with a 13-12 win.
It was a big win. We really needed this for motivation. We were so down after after Sac beat us on our own field. So we came here positive, knowing that we were going to win, and we did that today. We put in a lot of work at practice. After that first loss, we practiced. All the team can tell you, we were tired, but we came out here and we showed how much we practiced, and we beat them, and it really paid off.
This was a very important game for us today because there are only two junior girls teams, and for us, we lost our first game, and to win today, it means a lot to our girls. Both teams will be going into the championship, so this really means a lot for us.
Well, the first time we meet this team, we were well prepared, and we came out, that was a decisive win. As we can see, this QC went, and obviously they prepared more, and it was a more competitive game. But we see from the last inning, we came out strong, and we almost got there. One of the things that pointed out is some of our weaknesses that we need to work on. And those were not as evident in the first game because the first game was a much easier win. So for us, what we take from this is we see what our weaknesses are. We know what it is we need to work on. We definitely have the tools necessary, the discipline, and the attitude to work on those things. And when we come back, we are going to be the team to be reckoned with.
The Providence Volleyball Association season underway at the Donald Davis Gym. 5 ladies and 4 men teams are in the league this year. Double header action. Johnson Lady Spikers taking on the Lady Technicians. As in the past, these two teams always leave fans on the edge of their seats with competitive matchups, and this one was no exception as the Spikers needed 4 sets to put away the Technicians 25-21, 19-25, 25-13, and 27-25. Bumping over to the men, this one another thriller as the Technicians also needed 4 sets to win over the Intruders 28-26, 25-11, 23-25, and 25-13. Action at the gym tonight, we'll see Lady Tex and Bamboo Shack, Lady Warhawks, that should be on the court at this hour, followed by the Warhawks and Intruders men. Hope you go on out and check it out. That's it for Sports Friday. I'm Charles Fisher. Thanks for watching.
The Sports Report is brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gym. The best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for default credentials. Default passwords exist with almost every operating system and application. Point number 1, check the default passwords on all hardware and software and change passwords immediately. Test the credentials to see if they are still valid. When changing passwords, make sure that the new password is strong, unique, and stored securely. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
Our future is here. And no matter the result, we must come together. Together, we will innovate. Together, we will lead the way. Our future belongs to us. Happy Election Day, my fellow Bahamians. Leading the Bahamas in home improvement, since 1973.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse with my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles done cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Let this week's specials put a smile back on your face at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Rainbow corned beef, 12 ounce, $2.49. 123 cooking oil, 33.8 ounce, $4.19. Gatorade drinks, 64 ounce, 2 for $6.49. Center cut pork chops, $2.99 per pound. Fresh limes, 3 for 99 cents. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, satellite pictures showing that front boundary now smack across the southeast Bahamas, and the computer models are all indicating that some cyclogenesis will take place right along that front boundary sometime on Sunday. That area of low pressure expected to move towards the northeast and away from the Bahamas by Monday of next week. Meanwhile, that frontal system will continue to trigger pockets of showers and thunderstorms over the central and southeast Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Tonight, we're going in for partly cloudy with a thunderstorming spot during the afternoon, 73 degrees for your low temperature. And then tomorrow, it's going to be partly sunny and quite pleasant with a high temperature of 84 degrees. Your extended weather forecast, beautiful weather right through the weekend, keeping those temperatures nice and comfortable for you. But come Wednesday, you'll notice some showers work their way back into our forecast, and that's because of the presence of another area of low pressure, which is expected to form just to the east of the Bahamas. Okay, sir.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. But before we leave, Diana, some advice for young journalists, young broadcasters?
Just tell them to be themselves. Once you be yourself, you never have to remember who you were yesterday. So just be yourself and have fun with it.
Well, there you have it. Thank you. You're watching the Bahamas tonight. We wrap up tonight. And for the best choice in news and information, only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. Thank you for watching.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Welcome to the Bahamas High School Diploma Review Commission's Town Hall meeting. It's a meeting with members of the public to dialogue with commission members as they review and possibly